Last time Suho's brother was being harassed by moneylenders, and our protagonist was getting ready to obliterate them all. Suho, our fearless protagonist, finds himself facing off against Choi, a formidable opponent. It looks like Suho is in big trouble, but just when Suho is about to get smacked, Choi's plans are foiled by a last-second move from Suho. Using his incredible ability, Choi gets bound up, leaving Suho feeling pretty smug, thinking the danger is over. But wait, hold on to your swords. Suho's victory dance is short-lived because he underestimates his opponent once again. Suho's all like, "You think you can defeat me? Ha! Your bind ability is nothing compared to my skills." With a swift kick, Suho sends Choi flying like a ragdoll. The other three characters in the scene are gobsmacked by Suho's display of power. It's like they just witnessed a magic trick that made their jaws drop. Meanwhile, Suho finds himself surrounded by Choi's goons, each carrying swords dripping with the blood of their unfortunate victims. Intense, right? Suho doesn't flinch. He challenges Choi's lackeys, daring them to fight him too. These poor guys, realizing it's mission impossible, start begging for mercy and spilling their guts. They spill the beans on how Choi forced them to work for him, and how they're now seeing a golden opportunity to escape the clutches of their muscle-bound tyrant. Suho, ever the clever one, demands a rope from one of the three guys who witnessed the whole spectacle. Choi, in his fury, calls them traitors, but they reveal their true feelings, confessing that they've always despised him. Score one for the underdogs. Choi, realizing he can't do it all alone, tries to make a deal with Suho. He promises to use all his influence and power to make Suho the king of the city if only he lets him go. Suho, not one to fall for empty promises, responds by delivering a knockout kick that leaves Choi unconscious. Now, Suho turns to Choi's men once more, demanding their bounty, but they still claim to be worthless, insisting that killing them won't do any good. But here comes the twist. The three hunters, who've been observing the chaos, drop a truth bomb on Suho. It turns out every single one of Choi's goons is a criminal with a bounty on their heads. Jackpot. Seeing an opportunity for some extra cash, Suho decides to add these criminals to his hunting list. Cha-ching. Later, the three hunters, grateful for Suho's help, offer him a ride in their car and express their thanks. Little do they know, Suho wasn't there to lend a helping hand in the first place. Classic Suho. Curiosity piqued, Suho asks the hunters about their special powers. The leader spills the beans, revealing that he became a sword fighter after awakening and even learned some badass skills from books. Suho, utterly surprised by this revelation, decides he wants in on this book learning action. The hunters find it odd that Suho, with all his strength, is unaware of skill books. They exchange bewildered glances. Finally, unable to contain his curiosity any longer, Suho asks the hunters about the favour they wanted to ask. He's ready to lend a hand. Meanwhile, on the other side of the story, Captain Kang and his team emerge from a portal, looking worse for wear. Captain Kang, not one to mince words, berates his team for acting like a bunch of crybabies. He even threatens to get them fired because he's had enough of their incompetence, but his partner manages to calm him down, reminding him of the unfair reality of the Awakener Bureau. Rich and privileged parents use their influence to make their kids hunters, hiring pros to do the dirty work while their kids reap the rewards. Captain Kang, fueled by his sense of justice, finds this system incredibly unfair. Just when Captain Kang wonders if anything interesting happened today, he learns that someone delivered 10 Ravagers, including a C-rank boss named Choi. Now he's really shocked because defeating a C-ranker isn't child's play. He can't help but wonder who the mastermind behind this victory could be. The guards spill the beans, revealing that the person responsible for the chaos is none other than a newbie F-ranker. Captain Kang's eyes widen with disbelief. He demands to know where this F-ranker went, and the guards inform him that the last sighting was inside a portal. With newfound determination, Captain Kang races towards the portal, eager to witness Suho's unbelievable strength with his own eyes. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Which manhwa artist do you think has the most visually stunning artwork in their series? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. Captain Kang turned to the operator, curiosity brimming in his eyes, and asked the pivotal question, which door did Suho use to enter the portal? Meanwhile, on the other side, Suho had already stepped into the portal, sporting a snazzy new set of clothes that, to his surprise, were able to withstand the dimensional energy. These special garments didn't come cheap, but boy were they worth it. As Suho took in his surroundings, he couldn't help but notice something peculiar. With an intrigued expression, he turned to his partner and asked, "Hey, what's that thing over there?" His partner eagerly explained that it was a door, a gateway to one of the 38 different dungeons that hunters could explore. And guess what? The door they had just used happened to be number 24. Talk about luck. But just as Suho's excitement reached its peak, the door suddenly vanished into thin air. Perplexed, he inquired about this puzzling disappearance. That's when he learned the harsh truth. Doors would only reappear once the dungeon was cleared. Suho couldn't help but feel a twinge of impatience. Clearing a whole dungeon sounded like a monumental task. Did it mean he had to slay every single monster? The mere thought of it made Suho shudder. He wasn't exactly keen on spending eternity in there. Thankfully, Suho's partner had some reassuring news. All they needed to do was defeat the strongest monster within the dungeon, and the door would open once again. This revelation filled Suho with newfound vigor. The desire to hunt down the strongest adversary ignited within him like a raging fire. Fueled by determination, Suho wasted no time and set off on his quest to find the fearsome beast that awaited him. However, not everyone shared Suho's unwavering enthusiasm. Concern crept into his partner's mind. What if Suho got lost? After all, he wasn't exactly a master tracker. Losing Suho would spell doom for them both, as they would be trapped within the dimension forever. Realizing the gravity of the situation, his partner embarked on a frantic search to find his reckless comrade. Meanwhile, the dimension buzzed with monstrous creatures, hungering for a fight. Suddenly, a voice rang out, followed by a swift and deadly kick that dispatched one of the creatures in an instant. Suho had arrived, ready to unleash his merciless wrath upon any foe that crossed his path. With no mercy in his heart, he engaged in a ruthless battle, leaving a trail of defeated monsters in his wake. Amidst the chaos, Suho stumbled upon a valuable blood crystal, a profitable find indeed. Leaving behind the blood-soaked battleground, Suho continued his quest to encounter an even more formidable adversary. However, when his partner finally caught up to him, he was met with a grim scene. A horde of goblin corpses littered the ground, resembling a scene straight out of a gory massacre. Suho had reaped skill points from his relentless slaughter, enough to unlock a plethora of new abilities. Fascinated by the options before him, he chose to summon the ancient tree spirit, a mystical being he had encountered in another world. Commanding the tree spirit to search for more goblins, Suho utilized its unique connection to nature, communicating through trees and grass, to expand his hunting ground. Examining his stat screen, Suho's eyes widened with delight as he discovered he had leveled up. His achievement count now stood at an impressive 345. A new option caught his attention: search and track. Recognizing their significance, he swiftly invested his remaining points into acquiring both skills. Suho's newfound abilities came into play as he marked the entire area using the search skill. Guided by the tracking skill, he finally stumbled upon a presence that surpassed the mere goblin threat. It was something powerful and intimidating, a perfect target for Suho's prowess. Eager for battle, he wasted no time and rushed to confront his formidable opponent, only to find his partner engaged in a desperate struggle against the monster. Frustrated and concerned, Suho shouted at his partner, reminding him of the importance of staying together and not venturing off alone. But amidst the chaos, the monster paid no heed to their conversation. Its sole focus was on unleashing carnage. Suho swiftly intervened, launching a devastating kick that sent the monster reeling. Without giving it a moment's respite, he ruthlessly unleashed blow after blow until the beast lay lifeless, defeated at his feet. In that climactic moment, Suho experienced an instant surge in power, leveling up and gaining an astonishing 120 points. Meanwhile, his partner stood in awe, shock etched across his face. He had never witnessed such a relentless and ruthless hunter in action. Suho, being the fearless and powerful hunter he is, nonchalantly questions whether the door will finally open after this impressive kill. Little did he know, this one takedown was more than enough to unlock the mysterious entrance. With their mission accomplished, they decide to make their grand exit through the portal, leaving everyone around them in utter astonishment. As they disappear before their eyes, one vigilant guard, remembering Captain Kang's orders, can't help but wonder if he should inform their esteemed leader about the return of this formidable duo. Hyung Nim, realizing the urgency of his team's meeting, bids farewell to Suho, expressing his profound gratitude for the incredible assistance he provided. They part ways, but little does Suho know that another exciting encounter awaits him just outside. Stepping out, Suho finds himself face to face with Captain Kang, who exudes a contagious enthusiasm to meet the renowned hero. The captain introduces himself as Captain Kang Min Yok, the fearless leader of the 27th Combat Team of the illustrious Schiller Guild. Intrigued by Suho's remarkable skills, Captain Kang requests a few minutes of his time. They find solace in a cozy bar where they can converse privately. The captain extends an enticing offer for Suho to join the prestigious Schiller Guild, assuring him a fantastic working environment. However, Suho wastes no time in politely declining the proposition, much to the captain's hidden frustration. Curiosity gets the better of Captain Kang, and he inquires whether Suho is affiliated with any other guild. If so, he promises to present an official offer to Suho's current guild. Suho insists that he operates independently, with no allegiance to any guild. Despite Captain Kang's attempts to convince him of the numerous benefits of joining the esteemed Schiller Guild, Suho stands firm in his belief that he is destined for greatness on his own terms. Returning home, Suho finds neither Junho nor his son present. He assumes they are off enjoying some well-deserved father-son bonding time, which warms his heart. Seeking a moment of respite, Suho climbs to a rooftop and reclines to rest. However, his relaxation is short-lived as Granny playfully scolds him for being idle, reminding him of his youth and untapped potential. Suho, being the helpful soul he is, decides to lend Granny a hand. With a mischievous twinkle in her eye, Granny teasingly questions Suho's age, suggesting that he may be aging backward. Suho playfully retorts, claiming he has actually reversed the aging process. While Granny may not fully grasp the concept, she accepts it, noting that the world has become stranger over the years. She lovingly advises Suho to take care of himself, now that he has a family to cherish, emphasizing that losing a loved one is an indescribable pain. Assuring Granny that he is invincible, Suho is met with a cautionary warning, as Granny reveals that those who boast such confidence are often the first to meet their demise. Just as their conversation comes to an end, Junho and Gunwoo return, eagerly inquiring about Suho's whereabouts. Granny points them upstairs, informing them that Suho is patiently waiting. In a heartwarming gesture, Suho presents Junho with an envelope containing a whopping $50,000, the means to pay off all his debts. Initially overwhelmed by the unexpected generosity, Junho hesitates to accept the money, fearing his inability to repay such a substantial sum. Tears stream down his face, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of Suho's kindness. Suho gently urges him to cease the tears and embark on his journey to financial freedom. Grateful to the heavens for this life-altering blessing, Junho departs to settle his debts, leaving Suho to enjoy a moment of tranquility. Meanwhile, Gunwoo happily engages with their new furry companion, playfully pondering the perfect name for the adorable dog. Suho graciously hands over the naming duty to Gunwoo, who decides to call the dog Baegu. Taking a quick peek at Baegu's stat screen, Suho notices the pup is at level 1. Without further ado, they dive into a joyous playtime session, cherishing the simplicity of these precious moments. As evening sets in, Junho's truck returns, prompting Suho and Gunwoo to excitedly rush downstairs to greet him. However, their joy swiftly morphs into shock and concern as they witness Junho drenched in blood, struggling to remain on his feet. In a devastating turn of events, Junho collapses to the ground, leaving Suho and Gunwoo desperate to uncover the truth behind their brother's predicament. In a different setting, a dimly lit office houses a gathering of mobsters engrossed in discussions about betting odds for the upcoming SBF Championship tournament. Suddenly, a thunderous noise reverberates from outside, alerting them to imminent trouble. Before they can react, a henchman is swiftly whisked away, vanishing into the darkness. As fear grips their hearts, they find themselves captivated by a pair of eyes burning with an unmistakable fury. Suho, who possesses eyes that could pierce through steel, in a display of sheer strength, he effortlessly lifts a bench with one hand and hurls it at a mob, causing chaos and destruction. The intensity rises as Suho boldly confronts the boss, who is unaware of what's coming his way. With a determined expression, Suho asks if he's face to face with the notorious Kim Jong-soo. The boss hesitantly confirms his identity, and thus begins a debt-settling showdown. Warning Suho that the government won't approve of his actions, Kim tries to deter him from attacking. However, Suho pays no heed to the warning and delivers a thunderous slap that knocks out Kim's teeth. In a flurry of blows, Suho teaches Kim a painful lesson for crossing the line and harming his brother. The tables turn as the defeated mob begs for forgiveness and promises never to harass Suho's brother again. Satisfied with his victory, Suho leaves without wasting a second, leaving behind an infuriated boss vowing revenge. Meanwhile, at the guild headquarters, Captain Kang bursts in, presenting Suho's profile to his boss, Mr. Park. Kang confidently claims that Suho is the best they can find. However, when they attempt to delve deeper into Suho's background, an unexpected message pops up, denying them access. Intrigued and astonished, Park and Kang embark on a hacking mission to uncover Suho's hidden profile. As they lay their eyes on his impressive stats, disbelief washes over them. How could a mere rookie possess such incredible abilities? Kang advocates for recruiting Suho at any cost, while Park suspects there's more to Suho than meets the eye, possibly a covert government agent. Despite Kang's persistence, Park dismisses the idea, deeming it a futile pursuit. But Kang manages to secure a compromise, requesting a weekly report on Suho's activities. In another part of town, Suho rushes to the hospital to visit his brother Junho. The looming mercenary exam hovers in their minds, but Suho remains resistant to the idea of working under someone else. After all, he was once the king of the jungle. Junho offers to search for prestigious guilds on Suho's behalf, but Suho proudly declines, proclaiming his intention to establish his very own guild. The stage is set for an exciting new chapter in Suho's journey. In the meantime, we catch a glimpse of Su Young, stationed at the Awakener Bureau headquarters, where she faces the wrath of her boss due to recent incidents in her area. Feeling the pressure, she insists she's doing her best. However, her frustration peaks when she receives yet another job letter, forcing her to participate in an exam. Her boss warns her against rejecting too many applicants, a recurring issue for Su Young. At the examination center, a crowd of eager applicants assembles, ready to prove their worth. Amidst the anticipation, a guy live streaming the event finds his broadcast interrupted by none other than Suho. Just as curiosity peaks, Major Kim Young-soo introduces himself, setting the stage for the examination. The crowd eagerly awaits their assigned supervisors, hoping for a favorable match. With a touch of randomness, the lottery begins, and the participants eagerly discover their supervisors. To everyone's surprise, the streaming guy and Suho find themselves under the guidance of supervisor number 15. And guess who it is? Su Young. Excitement fills the air as strategies form and alliances take shape. Suho, ever observant, notices Dong-su's gloomy demeanor and probes him about his sudden change in mood. Dong-su reveals that they're in trouble because their assigned trainer, the blonde witch, has a reputation for being tough and failing candidates on a whim. Brushing off Dong-su's concerns, Suho playfully accuses him of making excuses, igniting a spark of anger within Dong-su. In a bid to settle matters, Dong-su challenges Suho to a fight, convinced of his own strength. However, before the fight can unfold, Su Young arrives, stumbling upon the deserted scene and wondering what she stumbled upon. Meanwhile, Suho and Dong-su find themselves confined within a cage, ready to engage in a brawl. Dong-su taunts Suho, reminding him of his past actions and boasting of his status as a rising YouTube boxer. Unfamiliar with the concept, Suho's perceived ignorance becomes a source of amusement for the spectators who rally behind Dong-su. As anticipation builds, Dong-su eagerly predicts Suho will foot the medical bills after their showdown. Unbeknownst to Dong-su, fighting has become a deep-rooted addiction for Suho, and he too eagerly embraces the impending battle. However, just as the clash is about to commence, Su Young steps in, putting an end to the chaos. With a commanding presence, she orders everyone to disperse, threatening to fail them on the spot. The crowd hastily retreats, but Suho and Dong-su remain defiantly in the cage. Su Young confronts them, reminding them of the consequences they face for their actions. Realizing that one of them must take responsibility, she proposes that they continue their fight, with the loser facing elimination. Dong-su asked Suho not to hold a grudge against him, but Suho apologized for what was about to transpire. Dong-su attacked, but Suho countered and knocked him out. Su Young was shocked, and had thought that Suho was the source of her discomfort since she saw him come out of the portal. Suho interrupted her thoughts and asked if she also wanted to fight him, but only under the condition that if he won, she wouldn't disqualify Dong-su. Su Young thought Suho was insane and entered the ring. She asked if he was an irregular, but Suho was confused by the term. She promised to explain it to him if he survived the fight. She swung a punch at Suho, but he dodged and blocked her next attacks. As they continued to fight, she told Suho that if he won, she would grant him one wish in addition to his original request. She threw a kick and suspected that Suho was keeping something hidden. Suho was impressed with her strength and praised it. She continued to attack, but Suho was able to dodge them. She then began throwing punches and kicks, which Suho countered with a punch. However, she used a shield to block it, but the shield shattered and pushed her back. Suho charged at her, enjoying the fight. She believed that Suho was an irregular, and when he was close to her, she raised her hand and surrendered. Suho was confused, but she explained that the space was too small for her to use her full abilities, and suggested they continue the fight at another time. She asked him what he wanted. Suho inquired if there were many strong women like her on Earth. She replied that there were not many. He then suggested that they make babies together. She slapped him in response and left, calling him crazy. He considered leaving himself as he felt he had lost the fight and blamed Suho for getting him disqualified. Suho explained that he was not disqualified. In an office, a man was surprised to see Soo-young's loss as he had been watching the fight on camera. Dong-soo was confused and Suho explained to him that he had asked Soo-young to overlook his disqualification. Dong-soo then wondered why Soo-young had slapped him and thought it was his fault. He cried and referred to Suho as his big brother. Suddenly, they heard that Suho was being summoned to the supervisor's office. Suho met with the man who had observed his fight with Soo-young and informed him that their conversation would be recorded. The man revealed that he was shocked to see Suho fight a B-rank awakener and questioned if he was an irregular. The man then explained about bridge portals that connect Earth to 3 other planets, one of which is Aruka, where dwarves and elves live in harmony. Returnees who have returned from Aruka have acquired skills related to magic and artifact crafting. The next planet is Hades, which is inhabited by monsters and martial artists. The martial artists are allies of Earth, while the monsters are Earth's enemies. Lastly, there is Mida, a planet ruled by ogres and overrun with vicious monsters. Whenever a portal opens to Mida, an all-out war is expected to occur. The Earthlings who return from these planets, people who learned powerful skills and whose combat abilities exceeded those of Awakeners, are called Irregulars. Suho found it complicated and was certain that the place he went to wasn't one of those planets. However, the man was thinking if Soo-young was just a dungeon returner, that wouldn't explain how he could fight a B-ranker. Then he asked Suho what kind of planet she came back from. Suho told his story. The man thanked him and told him to head back to the waiting room. After Suho left the office, the man was surprised by his story and called in a soldier to take over as supervisor number 15. He ordered him to monitor Suho and provide a detailed report. After the exams concluded, Dong-soo excelled in the 100-meter dash, demonstrating remarkable speed. Following closely was Suho, surprising everyone with his swift performance. The Major received Suho's exam results and promptly shared a video with Kim Miso from the Returner Bureau, instructing her to watch it without delay. Kim Miso's assistant informed her that the Major possessed a unique ability to detect falsehoods, validating the authenticity of Suho's interview with the doctor. As the pieces fell into place, it became evident that Suho hailed from a distant 4th planet. Swift action was taken as Kim Miso ordered the immediate removal of reporters from the training grounds. Unfortunately, time was against them, as the assistant had already stumbled upon an article about Suho. Recognizing the urgency, Kim Miso swiftly issued orders to have the article taken down, but the damage had already been done. Kim Miso was contemplating that Suho was able to maintain his physical condition after passing through the portal without protective gear and was given an F rank. Due to a depletion in dimensional energy, Kim Miso pondered the possibility that Suho might truly hail from a 4th planet. Such a revelation could potentially grant Korea an edge in advancing knowledge about this enigmatic realm. Meanwhile, as the reporters found themselves hindered from reaching Suho, Suho and Dong-soo ate food. Observing Suho, Dong-soo discerned a certain aura that set him apart, predicting his rise to popularity. Within the waiting room, only a duo remained. Dong-soo inferred that they were the sole survivors of the exam. Anxiety loomed as they contemplated the upcoming trial involving dungeon raids, a challenge requiring additional members. Suho, however, reassured his companion, dispelling apprehensions. Conjecturing that Suho's proficiency in the impending raid could attract the attention of prestigious guilds, Dong-soo entertained the idea. In a surprising twist, Suho invited Dong-soo to join his clan, announcing his decision to abstain from joining an existing guild. Building upon this notion, Dong-soo conceived a compelling plan, the creation of a video chronicling their clan's inception and their subsequent exploits on raids. Dong-soo readily embraced the proposal, accompanied by heartfelt tears. Their aspirations gained momentum when a monk abruptly entered the scene, identifying himself as Myongjin. His arrival coincided with an announcement mandating applicants to assemble in battle attire within the briefing room within half an hour. Myongjin elaborated on the examiner's tendency to orchestrate impromptu dungeon raids under the shroud of night. Dong-soo's incredulous reaction echoed throughout the room. The group received details about the impending dungeon raid, uncovering that it was safeguarded by the Phoenix Guild. Suho sought clarification regarding the concept of under-protection, revealing a knowledge gap. Dong-soo enlightened Suho, disclosing the city's predicament involving the sudden emergence of interdimensional portals and the government's struggle to manage the crisis. Guilds emerged as a solution, assigned to oversee and safeguard distinct sectors of the city while harnessing the dimensional energy extracted from controlled dungeons. Suho's realization dawned. His initial intent to establish a clan stemmed from a yearning for the thrill of hunting with his old pack. Suho and Dongsu were excited to have their own dungeon. Dongsu mentioned the benefits of dungeon ownership, highlighting the cost savings. Suho shared their ultimate goal of forming a guild, though Dongsu reminded them about needing to pass the Mercenary exam first. The dungeon they planned to raid had only 15 days left before its collapse, featuring a labyrinth-style layout with minimal monsters. Concerns arose about getting lost, but Suho assured them of his search skill. Questions about the monk's abilities led to a flashback of past experiences. At one point, a monster ambush occurred at the temple, and evacuation advice came too late. After the briefing, the group headed towards the portal, instructed by the supervisor to stay focused. Entering the dungeon, they faced challenges including a skeleton attack. They encountered traps, leading to a lower dungeon level. Monsters closed in, and they got ready to fight. Suho's tactical kicks helped them advance, and he invited the monk to join their clan. Traps were identified and waves of monsters engaged. After emerging from a hole, they found a trail of defeated foes. Following Suho's lead, they killed all of the monsters. Finishing the dungeon within a short span, they amazed observers. Back at their clan house, Dongsu showcased the team, introducing members. They later entered a new dungeon with bats, relying on Myungjin's skills. A boss emerged, swiftly defeated by Suho. Updates on their progress reached Kim Miso, who recalled Lee Seonggu, and decided to have a meeting with Suho. Concerns arose when Myungjin didn't show up for work, but Junho assured the team they qualified for level update. Earnings potential excited Dongsu. Suho granted them a rest day, going shopping for a new truck. Post-shopping, they aided Junho's awakening. During this time, loan sharks discussed guild funding. The boss had plans involving manager Choi, an expert in erasing individuals. Contact was made to execute this plan. Kim Miso joined the Suho clan, meeting Granny. Meanwhile, Junho nervously waited for Suho when a goblin suddenly appeared on their car, prompting Suho's intervention. Suho handed over a knife to Dongsu, instructing him to eliminate the creature and follow his lead. However, Junho was grappling with doubts about awakening. Suho reassured him that weakness wouldn't lead to survival, urging him once more to take down the target. With a firm command, Suho ordered the dog to attack and sink its teeth into the goblin. The creature's arm was bitten, but Suho soon informed Junho that the dog couldn't finish the job. He emphasized that Beku's life depended on Junho's next move. Responding to the pressure, Junho plunged the knife into the goblin, freeing Beku. Suho's orders rang in his ears as he relentlessly stabbed, his hands now stained with blood. The prospect of death loomed as Suho warned Junho that failure to kill would lead to his demise. Pressing forward, Junho followed Suho's lead, engaging and defeating other goblins. As Suho distanced himself, memories of abandonment flooded Junho's mind. Fueled by a mixture of emotions, he drove the knife into the goblin's head, stabbing its body repeatedly. Maniacal laughter echoed as Junho fought off another goblin, his mind seemingly unhinged. Caught in this intense moment, Suho observed Junho's information display, amused by the designation Butcher. With the chaos subsiding, Suho invited Junho to join him in finishing the task. Together they made their way to the Awakener's bureau, Junho's blood-soaked appearance unnerving the staff. Cleaning and quarantine were mandated before they were directed to the third floor for dimensional energy assessment. Suho explained that Junho needed a dimensional energy level exceeding 100 to qualify as an F-rank Awakener and sit for the Mercenary examination. Junho's measurement surpassed this threshold at 111, prompting him to proceed to the ability manifestation room. Suho followed suit, but an unsettling presence of multiple eyes startled him. Overcoming the shock, Suho received praise from the doctor and was assured of his impending advancement. Post-measurement, Suho queried Junho about any unusual sensations during the test, receiving a negative response. The conversation shifted to Junho's awakened skill, dubbed Execution. Exiting the bureau, they encountered Su-young and her squad. Suho's attempt at reconciliation was rebuffed, leaving the squad members to jest about a presumed rejection. Meanwhile, Kim Miso conversed with Granny as Suho arrived. A contract was extended introducing Suho to the concept of human coordinates and his return through a red portal. Success hinged on a returner's reappearance, and Suho's case met the criteria. Kim Miso disclosed the likelihood of the portal reopening, connecting different worlds. Suho's thoughts turned to the possibility of reuniting with his wolf companions. Discussion revolved around a fourth new planet potentially tied to Suho's origin. The emergence of this planet through a portal held implications for Korea. Kim Miso proposed that Suho remain in the country to prevent a repeat of Lee Sung-woo's situation, a hero who fled from a government facility in the early days of the disaster. This move led to his prominence in Japan and the creation of the Tokyo Planet Gates. Kim Miso outlined the significance of Suho's cooperation in the face of the forthcoming portal. In exchange, Suho expressed his desire for the promotion of the Suho Guild and exclusive territory for its members. This request surprised Dings, an attentive listener. Further requests were encouraged to be documented in detail. Curiosity piqued, Suho inquired about anticipating portal openings. Kim Miso assured him that their best agent would be dispatched for this purpose, equipped to monitor energy fluctuations and cracks. What will happen next? Find out in our next recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more manhwa recaps like this.